Good morning, Team Human. How is everybody out there? Whether you're in a wheelchair or not, I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful beginning to the day. It's early here in my apartment. I I usually get up pretty early in the morning, and these are good hours for me because I'm usually a little more have a little more energy than perhaps later in the day. Today, we're looking forward to some excitement. Big Fish is going to come over with his brother, and I think we're going to go have coffee. Uh, and that is exciting. I used to be able to get up and walk to coffee. I had like several nifty coffee spots that I could walk to, and now I'm hoping I couldn't believe it when I looked at this apartment. I was just desperate to get a place, and I just seized on this place, and I didn't realize there is actually a coffee place in the ground floor here. And I'm like, wow, I had not noticed that until I came to move in, and I went, what? How fortunate is that? Now that the girl is in a wheelchair, to have a coffee shop located right there in her building. So I haven't been there yet. I presume it's going to be good, and really looking forward to that. And there will be other humans there too, you see, because there are no other humans in my apartment. Big Fish will drop by occasionally and help out, but that's not, he's going to be spending time here. So looking forward to the coffee shop, where I predict there will always be humans if they're open. You have to learn when they're open and then go there on that. So today is an exciting day. I'm going to get out of the apartment for the first time since I moved here on Friday. It's Wednesday. So before I forget, I would like to make a shout out to the Padres. Go Padres! Woohoo! They won last night, and yay! I live very close to the Padres. It wasn't intentional, but my dad was a big Padres fan, and he's no longer with us, or he's not. He's no longer with us. But he would be he would giggle if he thought, "Oh, she's right there by the Padres." I could hear the game the other day. I can't see the park, but I could hear it, and I heard this noise in the background going, what is that noise? And there was, oh my God, it was the Padres were in town. They were in Los Angeles, but must have been some, you know, MC over there getting a crowd riled up who were not going to be watching the game personally, but I presume it was going to be on a large television somewhere. Anyway, so go Padres. We'll see. I didn't expect to have. Maybe we'll get the World Series right in my backyard. Wouldn't that be fun? But I would like to make a big note here about what I have finally learned from baseball. My husband, my former husband, just huge Red Sox fan. I mean, they're Red Sox fans, and then they're like the Red Sox nation, right? And him and his family were just such devoted fans, and they get so much pleasure out of the Red Sox. And but what I wanted to make a note of here, what I finally have appreciated from baseball, is patience. And boy, when you're in a wheelchair, right, guys, that's a really big feature that you need to develop, or you're going to be less happy in life, I think. Because I have to wait for people to come and do things for me, or open doors, or push me out of planners, or do stuff that I did not have to need to do before. And I need to be calm and not panic. Remember, don't panic, and just, remember what it's like to be standing on the mound. You've got the ball in your mitt. Are you ever going to throw it? Or are you just going to stand there and look at the batter and psych him out and psych out the crowd? Just stand there. And then eventually, I think you have to throw the ball. So, again, I'm getting a newfound appreciation from baseball that I did not previously have. You see, I grew up with the NFL in the background, and the NFL, first of all, is pretty fast-paced most of the time. It goes 1, 2, 3, boom, and then you either throw the ball, you pass the ball off, you fumble the ball. I mean, but things move along pretty quickly there. But not in baseball. No, you're just going to stand there. Think about it for a while. Then you'll throw the ball. And you have to eventually throw the ball. But anyway, I have more to say about baseball, but not now. What we're going to talk about, I put a little teaser in the upcoming upcoming news from conquering adversity, and I would like to chat with you guys about journaling and what can that do to help us get through this life with a smile. Remember, we're really going to focus on living with a smile, and that has to be a very conscious effort, or a girl could get a little down. I am very impressed though how I've only cried a couple of times since this happened to me. There were a couple award winner sobs, but I really haven't lapsed into just jagged crying, and that's a good thing. I think a quiet tear, I think, is lovely. It's an expression that you're alive and you're feeling something, and it's okay. You're emoting, hopefully reasonably, but just jagged wailing, unless you're in a war zone, when I think it's very appropriate. But in my apartment, no, jagged wailing isn't necessarily a good idea, because it wears me out and it wears everybody out. Blah blah. Not that there's anyone here to notice, but so I wouldn't stop myself consciously from sobbing, but I don't see really being quite sad or emphasizing being sad is useful. What I want to do is emphasize, hey, how am I going to get through this day reasonably well? And that's a good goal, people, is just be reasonable, and maybe have some oatmeal. We were talking about green smoothies. We're really hoping the blender could appear at any day now. And then I will get back to my beautiful green smoothies that I just feel good. I feel very light and nourished, which is a neat, important fact about food. I always thought food should be fun. It should be entertaining. And eating an entire pint of ice cream can be entertaining. And then I'm a huge believer in ice cream, but not entire pints at one time. And boy, if I could learn to maybe have 2 or 3 servings out of a pint, wouldn't that be progress? God, a ripe old age. But I'm not committing to that, right now. Every once in a while, a girl needs to just eat a pint of ice cream. And but not today. Today there is no ice cream in the house, and that's a good thing. But there is oatmeal, and so I'm hoping to have some oatmeal, and maybe later. But right now we're just gonna have a little juice, and I know juice boxes are not good for the environment, and but they are good for me right now because I have trouble picking up big heavy bottles of juice. And a little juice in the morning gets your blood sugar going, and you go, oh, yeah, okay, we're going to start becoming awake. We're going to feel a little bit better. And so right now I'm indulging in a little one of these. And, I didn't have a juice box till I was in my 60s, which for some of you people who grew up with them when you were little people would surprise you. But when I was in the hospital, and you just not happy girl in the hospital. I was so lucky I wasn't in horrible pain, but I was pretty uncomfortable. And so Big Fish started bringing me these little, or I asked for juice. Anyway, I got one of these, and it made me really happy. So again, they're expensive, and we don't want to encourage this sort of thing, but for right now, it's okay. Yeah, we'll move on from the little juice box. Hopefully, do that. So one of the things, I'm going to make a comment about Big Fish, because you guys haven't seen him, and you don't know much about him, other than he helps me. He helps Sunshine out. We call it the Big Fish and Sunshine Show. We are not a couple, by the way, if anyone's curious. We are dear friends, and we help each other out in a variety of ways. Mainly, I'm helping him, he's young, and I'm not, and I'm helping him learn how to, learn from my wisdom, and I can just feed it at him. And I did not have children, and they're, lots of days I really jealous of you people who have children, nice children that you like. But I did not have children. I had golden retrievers. I thought that was a reasonable response to the world. And have a couple. Don't just have one. Have two at a time if you can, do that. We're going to talk about dogs. If you've noticed on my channel, that is Quinn. She's a yellow Labrador, as you can tell from the thumbnails. What a delight. She is not currently living with me, and I do not, for the first time in forever, have a dog, or now even an animal. I don't have a cat either. Kinder decided to go live with my massage therapist, which was okay. I think considering when the whole wheelchair thing happened, I sort of said, God, what if I rolled over her? I mean, that would be horrible. So it just happened to work out that she got to go live with somebody else, and very, very happily, she lives with two boys now, and the husband. Apparently, they're all very excited to have my cat. But it's funny how these things work out. But for me to not have an animal when I have an opportunity to have an animal is amazing development. But I'm okay with it now, and I can look at pictures of Quinn, and I get updates on Quinn when she lives with my former husband, and they're very happy together, and so that's a good thing. But I'm going to talk about, there are right times to have animals and not right times to have animals, and the little darlings take a lot of care, and they need to go for walks, and I'm like, how would I do that? How would I do that now? I know there are ways. Oh, well, let me tell you about, dogs that make wheelchairs work. My former husband and I raised a dog, foster service dog for Paws with a Cause. His name was Basil, and we got him when he was 14 months, 4 months old till 14 months, and then we turned him in to Paws with a Cause, and then he was going to go help someone using a wheelchair. I was so inspired by that program. Wow, talk about committed trainers and doing really, really exceptional work. The dogs, of course, were exceptional, except for Basil. Well, I'll tell you the story of Basil. Basil is no longer with us. He lived to be 15 and had a good long life, but not helping someone in a wheelchair. He flunked out, which was okay, because then we got to get him back. But the whole point was to raise him for someone else. And anyway, there's some funny stories there. But so for me to not have a dog when I had an opportunity to have a dog, but it wouldn't work out right now, and it wouldn't be fair to the dog. And that's what I really, so animals been huge, the hugest part of my life, and so I'm not having one on purpose intentionally right now, because it wouldn't be fair for the dog. But I live next door to an amazing dog. I have not met the human that the dog is attached to, but wow, it's a silent, amazingly, I think it's a husky. I've only got sort of a partial glimpse of it. We live on we have these little balconies here, and for some dogs that will work. They can use the bathroom anyway, it works for them. And wow, I'm looking forward to getting to know that dog. It's very quiet. I mean, I haven't heard that dog make a noise, which is okay with me, because it lives right next to my head. Anyway, but it is lovely, and it's just so great to have the presence of animals, even if they're not mine, and I don't have to feed them or anything. I can just enjoy them from a distance, which is what I'm doing. So today is, let's see, what is it? What are we up to? So Friday was day one of the unpack, and then we had Saturday, it's Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So this is day 5. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Oh, Wednesday. Wow, my goodness. Getting on there in the days, and so we're gonna get some more boxes today. This great unpack has been really rather reasonable. Instead of getting 18 boxes, on day 1 and digging my way out, I've gotten, Big Fish has brought me, like 6 boxes, and then I can get through those and then break them down, and he can take them away. What a nice thing! If you can find a friend like this, get one. I've like to think I've done some nice things for people in my life, and not oodles, but well, I don't know. Why am I saying that? I like being helpful. It makes me feel good, and it's one of the reasons why I'm out here on YouTube. Is if I can bring my smile, as well as what I've learned, am learning, and then learn from you. That's a good deal. That's called, I think, doing human, with at least making an effort to do human reasonably well. So, but I did have a topic for today. As you've noticed, you saw that cute little kitten. That's Kinder. She's no longer mine, but she's happy. Last time I heard, she's doing very well. So, but anyway, we're going to talk today. If you look at that little preview, I've got so much to learn about YouTube, guys. Just bear with me. I'm really going to try to study up and get better at this thing, because it's really, there's a lot to learn, and there are lots of great resources that YouTube makes available to us from our fellow creators. So if you look at that cute little picture of that kitten, she is sitting on my journal, which is what she would love to do in the morning. Is, remember, I get my nice green smoothie, and then we get the nice tea, and then a journal, and sit there and write. And the kitten, of course, would want to sit on the journal while I was writing it, which didn't facilitate actual writing down of words on it. But she was so cute. She was so cute. She still is, but anyway. But she's not sitting on my journal anymore, which is good, because now I can get more writing done. So I wanted to talk to you guys about how I'm trying to journal now and learn from you. Any tips about using wheelchairs, about journaling, about smiling, please share them in the comments below. So, but as we get through the boxes, and I'm finding I write a lot. I've written about 5,000 pages in the last 5 or 6 years, and wow, that seems excessive. But journals have been such an amazing tool for me and a benefit in my life. And now that I'm going through the boxes, I've kept them. And wow, it's amazing what I've learned by rereading my own journals. And so I encourage everybody who likes to write, can write. You see my hand in the great fall. Can you see that? My finger is really bent. And apparently it's not going to come unbent either in this lifetime, perhaps, but we'll see. But it's getting a little, I'm profoundly right-handed, and and I like to write with a pen on paper. I do type, I also do type, and I talk into cameras, but I really like writing on papers, and now my hand doesn't quite work the way it used to. But so I'll show you some other journals are going to show up. And then a bookcase. We're very excited at some point we'll get a bookcase. And then you put the journals and the books on the bookcase. And you can wheel then hopefully right over to that and enjoy it. Because what you want to do with your journals, if you can bear it, there are days I can't. Like yesterday, I was getting really sad when I was reading my journals. But isn't this a pretty journal? A very pretty journal. Journals are so great. They come in all shapes and sizes and colors, and some of them have lined paper. It's just a lot of diversity in the journal world, and they're generally fairly inexpensive. You can buy them. I live in an urban area, obviously, by the Padres, and you can just find journals, in most stores around town, and then you can get one that you really like. And I just shows you the different kind of disciplines I've had. Is I would get one and then write in it from the beginning to the end, and then go get another journal and start over again. And but mostly that's not my speed. What I like to do is get lots of things, and then see, they come in different. This was one of my dad's journals, and see, it has a little. But look at those are Padres colors. I noticed that. Can you see? What? It's a little truck. My dad was a funny guy. I mean, he was seriously pretty odd, and and I think often he was able to sort of make himself laugh, and because he was like me, pretty much of a loner in life, and but he did some funky things with his journals, and the when I when he died and I went and cleaned out his house, I found all these journals, and I'm like, what on earth was he up to? But he didn't. He lived 2 mountain passes away from me, and so I didn't get to see him very often. But he had a journal for everything in his house. I mean, he had a journal, of course, food journal. I've written extensively in food journals, and he just the general day, what's going on today. And then he would have his like fears, fears concentrated in this book. But he had a journal for next to his little chess game that he played, so he'd record all of his chess games. I'm like, wow, Dad, you had a lot of journals, but they made him happy, and they were reasonable. Some of the things my dad did sure weren't. A lot of things I do aren't reasonable either, but we try. We do try. And journals are sort of just, they're not threatening, usually. Well, I'll tell you about the garage, my dad's garage, sometime. But another thing you can do with journals. So let's just look at a couple of what's Leah has in the box next to her wheelchair. So these are just journals, with just like lined paper. Wow, and that's fun. And then another way of recording your life is these are cute little books. These are Japanese and lovely. So this is 1 year right in there. And then you could write down every day what happens to you. Maybe your hopes, your dreams, your goals, your tortured nights. Nirvana. Look there. That didn't happen that day. But anyway, so lots of different ways of recording your life. And then when you get in a wheelchair and you've got lots more time on your hands, you can read your journals. And then maybe you will learn a thing or two about yourself. Like this one here. This is something my husband brought home from a conference or something he went to. This was what was it called? The Center for Creative Leadership. He is a creative leader, and so they gave him this little book. Then I wrote a few things down in it. I have had some. Well, Big Fish the other day said I was a leader, and I'm like, really? Okay, let's go with that. And see, because I have a little book that says. Remember, laughing, smiling. Okay, so why am I showing you all these books? So here, this is a nice little travel edition of a journal. So I lived in the Colorado mountains for 17 years, and at the end there, when I wasn't working, I would go with the dog, whichever dogs were hanging about my life, and we would. Tegan was. Another yellow lab that I had, but we would hike all the way up to the top of this very steep hill and to something that I called my special place. And it was just this was an incredibly beautiful place. And but you had to walk up a steep hill to get to your special place. And then I would sit and write in this little book. And so I still have this. This was 10 God, this was 12 years ago. 2013, okay. I wrote, see, it says my special place, perfection. I really did love this place. And because I got to go there by myself and the dog. And the dog, there were no other humans there. There were bears. Well, there were a couple other humans, and then sometimes they would have dogs, and my dog didn't. That particular Labrador did not like other dogs. So, but anyway. But mostly it was just me and the dog, and that was perfection for me. That was like, wow. Of course, it was Colorado mountains, so sometimes it was very cold and snowy, and you had to wear snowshoes and stuff. But that was okay. I got good on my snowshoes in the end. But so what the whole point is if you take a little journal notebook with you wherever you go, you can write down those really good thoughts that you're having. And then when you're in a wheelchair down the road, you can sit there and read them, which is really fun. Because I'm remembering what I've done in my life is I remember a lot of the bad stuff, and I'm sure we're all doing that. And now I'm I'm feeling kind of challenged about some different things in different ways. But when I read these little books, I go, wow, it wasn't all awful. You know, I've had lots of smiles of my own. I've had the great good fortune. You know, I have been loved, and I have loved back. But I tend to forget that, especially on low days. So what you want to do is write it down and then pull it out and say, wow, okay, there were bad days, but there were good days. And that means that there's going to be good days again. There will be bad days, but I'm prepared for that. Pretty prepared for that now. I'm not confused. But there are going to be good ones too. And I'm going to smile. And if you people would help me smile, I would sure appreciate that. So let's have a good day. We'll see what it brings. There's going to be coffee. There could be coffee very soon. And then there will be oatmeal. So you have a wonderful day. And I'm going to try. And I will report back. Go Padres.